After a week of uncertainty, twists and turns, it's Labor. Kingmaker Geoff Brock has handed Jay Weatherill the crown, giving the ALP a fourth consecutive term in office.
5 o'clock this afternoon, Jay Weatherill arrives at Government House to formally seek a fourth term for Labor. It ended a dramatic day. He fronted the media this morning, flanked surprisingly by independent Geoff Brock.
The present circumstance required that we give stability and certainty to the people of South Australia. I've elected to bring the speculation about who will form the next government to a close. I have chosen to support the Labor Party to form a minority government.
Today's announcement brings to an end the uncertainty.
It also brings to an end Liberal hopes of finishing Labor's stranglehold on power.
Obviously we're going to have to sit down and work out what do you have to do in South Australia to take government off of the Labor Party.
A dark day for Stephen Marshall, but he insists he'll stay on as leader.
Oh well, you know, the decision's been taken out of our hands. We'll just march on. It is what it is.
And what it is a guarantee Mr Brock will ensure Labor is supported on confidence and supply in Parliament.
But I have the ability to be able to exclude myself or cross the floor on other issues.
He'll also be a Minister for Regional Development and Local Government Relations.
I'll be able to get those concerns that have been brought to me by those many people over the last week to the Cabinet.
And there have been concerns. He knows he risks a backlash in his Conservative electorate.
This is a very hard decision for me to make. Very hard.
And to those South Australians who have not felt represented by our government in the past, I commit myself to reaching out to you.
The Premier promising swift reform in regional affairs and small business.
There will be changes to some of the policy positions that the Labor Party has promoted.
Mr Brock says his hand was forced after it was revealed yesterday fellow Kingmaker Bob Such was undergoing surgery and won't return to work for 2 months.
We could go on for another month, and if Mr Such is still sick, he could ask for another month's sick leave. We go for 2-3 months. We have to bring it to a head.
And it was the Premier who drove the hardest bargain.
I immediately went to Port Pirie. We spent a number of hours discussing the matter.
Well, I mean, I spoke to Geoff several times yesterday, right through to mid-afternoon. He made it very clear that he was making a decision mid-next week. Clearly something has changed.
And even when that change happened, Stephen Marshall was among the last to know.
I phoned Steve Marshall this morning. I went to Message Bank. There was no message. Unfortunately, I would have loved to have spoken to Stephen.
The Premier promising bigger and bolder government after limping over the line.
Obviously, there wasn't a resounding endorsement of my government and its program. They want more, and they'll get more.
And Tom Richardson joins us live. And Tom, after all of that, are we back to business as usual now?
Well, I don't think so. Jay Weatherill has already flagged significant policy changes. He knows that Labor was well behind in the statewide vote. He's also leading now a minority government with a finely balanced upper house. So it will be a turbulent 4-year term. And turbulent too, of course, for the Liberals. I've spoken to some in their camp and they're very unhappy to say the least. But it is Jay Weatherill's day. He was brought in 2 years ago to win Labor an election. He's now done that, and that gives him significant clout, certainly within the party, to lead from the front, as long as, of course, he's able to keep Geoff Brock on side.
Thanks very much, Tom.